Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today we are going to be talking about skill-based matchmaking and whether microtransactions in games like Call of Duty, especially the newer one, Cold War, and even Modern Warfare, are actually pay to win. And I know what you're going to say, Ghost, how can they possibly be pay to win? You know, all you can get from the online store are aesthetic things like skins for weapons and whatnot. They don't make your weapons any more powerful than anybody else's, so how can that possibly be categorized as pay to win? I'm going to get to that in a minute, but first of all, let's just have a look at how people on Reddit are actually reacting to the current alpha test of Cold War on the PlayStation 4. So first of all, here we've got a tweet from none other than Scump saying, skill-based matchmaking does not belong in Call of Duty. There should be a ranked playlist for people to sweat in. I'm not trying to play scuff-wielding, game-fuel-chugging demons with SZN in their PSN on Miami Team Deathmatch. Also, to the newbies that are going to cry about this tweet, hold this choppy gunny. Here's another thread saying please make a separate rank mode for sweaty people. Girls just want to have fun, so have a place for each player to have fun in. Casual players want to just chill and play the game, and sweaties want to be the best, so give them a place for them to beat the shit out of each other. And here is something else that's relevant, and it says Treyarch's Director of Technology comments on the community's perception of skill-based matchmaking. And here you can see he's quoting this saying they all had skill-based matchmaking. So you know, this guy here is basically saying COD 4 had no skill-based matchmaking, and Modern Warfare 2, 3, and Black Ops 2, and he's basically saying they all had it. Now, the only problem with that is that skill-based matchmaking is such a broad term. You know, skill-based matchmaking back then did not mean what it means today. You know, it's a very broad term because it's called skill-based matchmaking, so you would assume, based upon that statement, that it was based purely on your skill. But it's not just based upon skill. You know, companies like Activision are gathering all sorts of data on you, from anything like what kind of weapons you select, how quick you are to aim on target, how you stay on target, you know, just anything at all that pertains to essentially how good you are at the game. But another field of information that they've started gathering on players is microtransaction information. You know, which people are buying skins, what skins, and which people aren't. Now, there was a lengthy post that somebody made on Reddit earlier this morning, and it was detailing Activision's copyright for their matchmaking system. And over here, I have a little diagram of it. And as you can see there, under the matchmaking application, it says part of that is the scoring engine, analytics and feedback engine, the UI engine, the pipelining engine, and then you've got the microtransaction engine. Now, this guy had a lot of useful information posted up, and mysteriously, that post has now disappeared off of the Cold War subreddit, and I wonder if Activision had anything to do with that at all. But basically, the short version is that what they're doing with this microtransaction engine is they are linking players up who have maybe bought, you know, let's say there's a new flashy red lightning skin for the M16, right? And some players running around with that. And at the same time, they decide to have a sale on that skin, and it's 50% off. And of course, they want people to buy it. So what they're actually doing is they are matchmaking people based on whether you have bought that skin or not. Now, you might say, well, why does that really matter? Well, for example, if they matchmake newer players who aren't very good at the game with better players who are good at the game and also own that skin, that might then give these newer players the perception that if they go ahead and buy that skin, maybe they'll be better as well. You know, they're going to get trounced by loads of these guys who are playing better than them with this new flashy red lightning M16 skin. And then guess what happens? Next time they'll log into the game, they're hit by a splash screen with an advertisement notifying them that that particular skin is now on 50% discount. And, you know, through the subliminal advertising of that, they are then very likely to go and purchase that skin, thinking, maybe if I have that skin, I'll be better at the game. Now, this also swings both ways, because when that player then purchases that skin, they themselves will then be match-made up with players who are worse than them, and the cycle then just simply repeats itself. And what happens to the players who've just purchased the skin? They then have maybe 2 or 3 fantastic rounds, they get a positive KD, maybe they get chopper gunners, they destroy the enemy team, and they feel good about buying that skin because they're having a positive game experience. So that reinforces then for future purchases. You know, if I buy a skin, I'm going to do better. Of course, if you say it out loud, it doesn't make any sense logically at all, but, you know, most of advertising these days is subliminal. It also brings me back to another point, and That is that, if you're not paying for a product, as the saying goes, you are the product. So systems like Modern Warfare Warzone, where nobody's actually paying for anything, I would fully expect this kind of matchmaking to be implemented there. And you might think I'm just making these things up, guys, and that I'm just speculating. But Activision actually have the copyright of these matchmaking systems on the internet, and you can go and look them up yourselves and find them. And here's just a short little excerpt of what it says here, just so you can see it in Activision's own words. So it says the microtransaction engine may analyze various items used by marquee players and, if the items are being promoted for sale, match the marquee player with another player, e.g. a junior player that does not use or own the items. Similarly, the microtransaction engine may identify items to be promoted, identify marquee players that use those items, and match the marquee players with other players who do not use those items. In this manner, the microtransaction engine may leverage the matchmaking abilities described herein to influence purchase decisions for in-game related purchases. Now that's a very rough example, but they give another one here. Listen to this. In one implementation, the microtransaction engine may target particular players to make game-related purchases based on their interests. For example, the microtransaction engine may identify a junior player to match with a marquee player based on a player profile of the junior player. In a particular example, the junior player may wish to become an expert sniper in the game, for example, as determined from the player profile. The microtransaction engine may match the junior player with a player that is a highly skilled sniper in the game. In this manner, the junior player may be encouraged to make game-related purchases, such as a rifle or other item used by the marquee player. So that's just a short excerpt from Activision's copyright explaining how the microtransaction engine works within the matchmaking system. And so yeah, in a way, you can categorize that as being pay to win. If you buy a skin, you will most likely be match made up with players who are worse than you to encourage the worst players to buy the skin and also to effectively reward you for having bought it. And I think this is just a step too far. All games are going to end up doing this that have an online store with microtransactions and have matchmaking with some sort of skill-based element within there. I mean, what incentive do they have to not do this? If they know they can make extra money by doing it and the numbers show that, then of course they're going to do it. And I think it's really one thing to do it in a game that's free to play like Warzone, but completely another to put this in a $60 title like Cold War. On top of that, I also am a big believer that the skill-based matchmaking system doesn't really have any place in a game like Call of Duty. If you're going to have skill-based matchmaking, have some sort of an ELO rating or have a league system so you can see, okay, I'm in Gold League, this game I'm going up against a bunch of guys in Platinum League, so I can expect to get my ass handed to me. I can expect to be dominated. But without showing any sort of statistics or information about how good you are at the game or in which skill group you're placed, it just becomes really annoying. You do great one game and you can almost predict it without a shadow of a doubt that the next game you're going to do terribly because it's going to have bumped you up to the next skill group. Anyway, guys, I've been rambling on for a while here, but I thought it was something important that I read on Reddit. I thought it was even more strange that it's randomly disappeared after a few hours of being up there, and it was upvoted like thousands and thousands of times. So let me know what your thoughts are down below. What do you think of this practice, and are you sort of for or against skill-based matchmaking in general? Hit the like button down below, guys, if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.